A big hello to my dear student friends. I hope you all are fine and studying. Yes. So let's take our contract of agency to its end in today's lecture. Okay. लेकिन टॉपिक ख़त्म करने से पहले देर आर मैनी इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग्स जैसे मैंने आपको पहले लेक्चर इसके पहले वाले लेक्चर में थर्ड लेक्चर में आपको बताया था कि ये जो हमारा लास्ट एंड फाइनल वीडियो है ऑन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ एजेंसी इट इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज इसमें बहुत सारे नए टर्म्स you will get acquainted to. Okay, so let's begin with agents liability to third parties. So these we are going to deal with under various heads. Okay, so यहाँ पे पहले हम देखेंगे principals liability for agents act, उसके sections देखेंगे. Then we will come to personal liability of the agent. What is his personal liability? वैसे तो हमने पढ़ा है that contract is entered into between principal and third party. एजेंट हैज़ नो लाइबिलिटी बट यहाँ पे थोड़े एक्सेप्शंस हमको पढ़ने हैं जहाँ पे एजेंट डज बिकम पर्सनली लायबल. ओके, then we are going to understand the concept of undisclosed principal, then liability of a pretended agent, and we are going to understand agency by estoppel which we have already touched upon earlier. So वो जल्दी से हम कर लेंगे and then we will go to the circumstances where agency comes to an end और उसके effects. Okay, so let's understand about first thing, let's understand about the principal's liability for actions of the agent. So what is it, the principal's liability? यहाँ पे law कहता है that section 226 in the earlier discussion I have already acquainted you with section 226 I told you, which says that contracts which are entered by the agent and the obligations, the rights as well as the obligations which are arising from these acts, they may be enforced in the same manner and will have the same legal effects as if the contract is entered into by the principal. So I had already acquainted you with that. So that is how actually contract तो कर रहा है principal only ना, मतलब उसने एजेंट को अपॉइंट किया है वो काम करने के लिए, बट इट एज गुड एज द एजेंट हु इज इट इज एज गुड एज द प्रिंसिपल हु इज मेकिंग द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद द थर्ड पार्टी. सो इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंदर जो भी ऑब्लिगेशंस अराइज होती है, जो भी राइट्स अराइज होती है एंड वॉट एवर आर द इफेक्ट्स ऑफ इट, it is as good as the principal himself doing the act. Okay, then we have section 227 जो कहता है that an agent has the authority to do certain acts. However, when he acts beyond his authority, ये हमने पहले लेक्चर में भी देखा है that what is the capacity, what is the authority of an agent? His authority, he can bind the principal by his acts, provided the act is legal, provided the act is done within the scope, and provided he had the authority to do that act. So, but when the agent acts beyond his authority, and when this acts which are done within his authority and beyond his authority, they can be these acts can be separated from each other, then it has different effects. Okay, then only those acts which were authorized, which were within his authority, will be binding on the principal. Example, like when a principal owns a truck as well as the goods in the truck, so he authorizes his agent to insure the truck. Lekin the agent takes the insurance policy for the truck also and the goods also. So here is A is bound to pay premium for the policy of the truck only and not the premium on the policy of the goods, because वो act उसके act authority के बाहर था. But of course there is another option available जो हमने already पढ़ा है, and can you recollect? Can the principal even confirm this act later? Yes, by ratification, but that is up to him. Okay. So section 227 states that where an agent exceeds his authority, the principal is not bound by the excess work. However, where it is possible to separate the authorized work from the unauthorized one, then the principal is bound only to the extent of the work done for which the agent had authority. उसमें एक केस भी हम देखेंगे. द केस वॉज अहमद वर्सेस मोहम्मद खुनही. ओके, ये केस था where the agent was authorized to sell half of the rights over a property. Okay, half of the rights of the property he was allowed to authorize to sell, and he contracted to sell all the rights. Now, principal became bound only to the extent of half the rights which were authorized by him to the agent, as it was possible to separate the two. So, जहाँ पे ये separation possible है, the principal can be bound only by the act which he had given authority to, and not the other. लेकिन यहाँ पे what if we cannot separate the two acts, where both the acts cannot be separated, then the principal के पास option क्या है? He may repudiate the entire contract. Okay, so as per section 228, when an agent does more than what he is authorized to do, and this cannot be separated from the acts within his authority, principal is not bound to recognize the transaction. So, example, where A authorized the agent to buy 1000 kgs of wheat. B, the agent buys 10,000 kgs of wheat as well as 500 kgs of rice for 12,000 rupees. Now, here it was not possible to separate. Matlab, how much did he pay for the wheat and how much did he pay for the rice? The acts within the authority and beyond the authority cannot be separated. So, यहाँ पे the principal has the authority to repudiate the entire transaction. Okay. सो जहाँ एक ऐसा भी केस हुआ था जहाँ पे प्रिंसिपल ने अथॉरिटी दी थी एजेंट को टू बाय 500 शीप. ही बॉट 500 शीप एंड 200 लैम्स फॉर 10,000. Now, the principal may repudiate the whole transaction because it was not possible to separate both the acts. But यहाँ पे अगर agent has paid 7,000 for the sheep and 3,000 for the lambs, then the principal is bound to pay 7,000 because that was the authorized act. But of course, as I said, it can be ratified later. Then we have section 229, which talks about effect of notice. So the law says that if any notice has been given or any information is obtained by the agent in the course of his transaction of business of agency, that notice or information shall be between the principal and third parties, and it will have the same legal effect as if it were given to or obtained by the principal himself. Remember, यही point effect of notice हमने किया था between in Indian Partnership Act, relations between partners and third parties. If any notice is given to the acting partner of the firm, it is as good as giving notice to the entire firm. An entire firm कौन है? Principal है, right? So the firm cannot say कि हमें notice नहीं मिला. Firm मतलब कौन है? Other partners, right? So जहाँ पे वहाँ पे मैंने आपको एक example भी दिया था कि अगर the partnership firm is in a rented property and the monthly rental which they are paying to the landlord is 15,000, and then in the month of December, landlord sends a notice to the acting partner that from the new year, that is from January onwards, the rent is going to be increased from 15,000 to 18,000 per month, and he accepts. So notice given to partner as an agent of the firm is as good as notice being given to the entire firm. It is bound. The firm is bound. Okay. So the principal appoints B an agent to buy 5,000 kgs of wool for C from C, the apparent owner of the wool. However, B does not know that D is the real owner of the wool and learns that in the course of the sale. So the principal is in ignorance of this fact and is not entitled to set off a debt owing to him from C against the price of the goods. Okay. So what is the effect of notice? As good as, so he is, if the notice is given to the agent, it is as good as notice given to the principal. Okay. यहाँ पे एक केस है विच आई वांट यू टू अंडरस्टैंड. जानी नौतम लाल वेनी शंकर वर्सेस श्री विवेकानंद कोऑपरेटिव हाउसिंग सोसाइटी लिमिटेड. ओके, ये केस है. प्लीज जस्ट नोट डाउन द केस and I will tell you and I will note down what I am going to dictate over here. इस केस में हुआ क्या था? The Calcutta High Court, first understand it, then I'll dictate it slowly so you can write it down. The Calcutta High Court held that when the secretary of a society was the de facto as well as the de jure in charge of the affairs of the society. A notice which is given to him of the fact that a partner of a firm with which the society had dealings had retired operated as a notice to the society itself. Okay, so यहाँ पे क्या हुआ था? It is as good as the fact that I told you about agency. So you can just take down this fact. Uh, Calcutta High Court held that when secretary of a society, secretary of a society was the de facto, I'll tell you the meanings also. De facto का मतलब है in fact, in practice, in effect. So where the secretary of a society was in fact de facto, was the de facto, that is by right or not, he was you can say actual or existing de facto as well as de jure in charge. De jure का मतलब है according to rightful claim, by right. Okay, so where the secretary of a society by right, by law, was in charge of the affairs of the society, a notice given to the secretary, a notice given to him. And what is that notice? Notice about the fact that a partner of the firm with which the society had dealings, had retired, operated as a notice to the society. So इस केस में कोर्ट ने ये कहा, when a notice like this is given to the secretary of the society who is the de facto de jure in charge, मतलब by law he has certain rights, by law he is in charge. When a notice is given to him, it is as good as notice given to the society. Okay, so this was what is the liability? So where all will the principal, will he be liable for the acts and where will he not be liable? So where section 226 से ये start होता है, where the agent is acting within his authority with the consent of the principal and he's been appointed by the principal to do a particular work. When he is doing that act, whatever rights, whatever obligations, whatever are the legal effects of that act is as good as the principal himself doing that act. Now, when we are saying this, we have to also make it very clear that agent has to act within his authority. If he exceeds his authority, if he goes beyond his authority and the acts within his authority and beyond his authority can be separated, the principal will be bound only by authorized acts. If the two cannot be separated, the principal has the right to repudiate the entire contract. Then अगर एजेंट को नोटिस दिया गया है in the regular conduct of the business, it is as good as notice given to the principal. So will the principal be bound by a notice given to his agent? Yes, the principal will be bound. Okay, then with this we now move on to the next part, and the next part is personal liability. What is the personal liability of a what is the personal liability for a for an agent? Okay, so how far is notice to agent or notice to the principal? ये मैंने already आपको बताया, ordinary notice to agent is notice to principal. So facts which the agent learns in the course of transacting, the acts in which he is employed, are treated as known to the principal personally. However, this rule does not cover cases where the agent's knowledge was obtained before he was engaged by the principal for a particular matter or otherwise then in the course of a particular business. Of course, अगर उसको पहले से information थी where he was not appointed, then this section does not apply over there. Okay. Then coming to personal liability of an agent. इन वॉट ऑल सर्कमस्टेंसेज, जैसे हमने पहले ही कहा था कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तो बनता है बिटवीन प्रिंसिपल एंड थर्ड पार्टी, एजेंट की लायबिलिटी नहीं होती. दैट इज वाई इवन अ माइनर और अ पर्सन ऑफ अनसाउंड माइंड कैन बिकम एन एजेंट. बट नाउ वी आर सेइंग दैट सेक्शन 230 कहता है एजेंट कैन नॉट पर्सनली एनफोर्स नॉर बी बाउंड बाय द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल. ओके, सो in the absence of any contract to that effect, agent cannot personally enforce a contract which is entered into by him on behalf of the principal, nor is he personally bound by such a contract. Okay, लेकिन कहाँ पे will such contract, where is it presumed to exist? Where is such a contract presumed to exist? Where the contract is made by an agent for the sale or purchase of goods for a merchant residing abroad. मतलब section 230 क्या कहता है, where an agent contracts. See, first you need to understand कि contract जब बनता है तो liability होती है principal और third party. Now what we are saying here is कि there are certain circumstances जहाँ पे agent personally liable. So which are the circumstances जहाँ पे वो personally liable होता है? Where he is contracting for a merchant resident abroad, there is a presumption that agent undertakes personal liability. If you remember CA Foundation की पढ़ाई में, when we were doing competent parties का हम topic कर रहे थे, we said minors are incompetent, unsound mind, as well as persons who are disqualified by law. उसमें हमने किया था फॉरेन सॉवरेंस, नेशनल्स, अम्बेसडर्स, रिमेंबर. और वहाँ पे हमने किया था कि एक्चुअली अगर कुछ ब्रीच हो जाए, इट इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू फाइल अ सूट अगेंस्ट देम, बिकॉज फर्स्ट यू नीड टू टेक द परमिशन फ्रॉम योर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, विच विल टेक द परमिशन फ्रॉम देयर गवर्नमेंट टू स्यू हिम इन एन इंडियन कोर्ट. लेकिन उस केस में अगर द फॉरेन सॉवरेन, नेशनल और अम्बेसडर इज कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग थ्रू एन एजेंट हु इज़ हियर in India, through an agent, Indian agent, then can you enter the contracts? Yes. Why? Because अगर यहाँ पे कुछ भी गलत हो जाए, breach हो जाए, can you hold the Indian agent liable? Answer is yes. Okay. So यहाँ पे where will the agent be personally liable? Where he is contracting for a merchant who is resident abroad. Okay. This presumption is rebuted where the foreign principal is made a contracting party in writing and the contract is made directly in his name. So यहाँ पे अगर वो जो agent है, अगर Indian agent through your contracting, then in his name, then he can be held personally liable. लेकिन अगर foreign merchant के साथ resident abroad, उसके साथ अगर आप contract कर रहे हो, उसके नाम से contract हो रहा है and he is signing in his own name, then you cannot hold the Indian agent liable. Okay, तो फिर आपके पास रेमेडी बहुत कम रह जाती है. ओके, नेक्स्ट कहाँ पे होती है पर्सनल लायबिलिटी? सेक्शन 231 कहता है where the agent makes a contract with a person who neither knows nor has reason to suspect that he is an agent. His principal may require the performance of the contract. Here, the other contracting party has the same rights as against the principal as he would have had as against the agent if the agent had been the principal. Now, these things जो हम undisclosed principal और वो सब करने वाले हैं, उसमें I'll be able to explain it much better. And section 232 कहता है that where one man makes a contract with another, neither knowing nor having reasonable ground to suspect that the other is an agent, the principal, if he requires the performance of the contract, can only obtain such performance subject to the rights and obligations subsisting between the agent and the other party to contract. And section 233 आगे लेता है ये point where the agent is personally liable, person dealing with him may hold either him or his principal or both liable. Okay. Now before we go ahead, मुझे ये points आपको सब explain करने दो. पहले तो हम section 230 थोड़ा सा और detail में करेंगे. Okay. So section 230 कहता है कि agent personally liable नहीं है. However, he will be liable under certain circumstances. Okay. तो पहला circumstance section 230 सेक्शन 231 सब क्लॉज 1 हम देखते हैं यहाँ पे. सो सेक्शन 231, 232 and 233. ओके. सो सेक्शन 230 सब क्लॉज 1 कहता है, इन केस देर इज फॉरेन प्रिंसिपल where the agent is acting for a foreign principal, can the agent be held personally liable? Answer is yes. Example, a company which was registered in England having a place of business in India, okay, was held as a foreign company. That is a foreign principal, and the Indian agent acting for it was held personally liable. Okay, so ये जो है ना section 230 ये provides that in the absence of any contract to that effect, agent cannot personally enforce a contract which is entered into by him on behalf of the principal, nor is he personally bound, but we are understanding the exceptions where he is personally bound. Okay, तो पहले है when when there is a foreign principal, does the agent become personally liable? The answer is yes. Then section 230 clause 2 talks about an unnamed principal. The presumption of agent's personal liability arises when he does not disclose the name of the principal. उसने unnamed principal का मतलब क्या है? जहाँ पे उसने थर्ड पार्टी को प्रिंसिपल का नाम डिस्क्लोज नहीं किया, मतलब द थर्ड पार्टी डज नॉट नो हु इज द प्रिंसिपल. ओके. नाउ यहाँ पे अगेन देर आर टू थिंग्स. Where the agent contracts for an undisclosed principal, he is personally liable being party to contract. Undisclosed principal कौन होता है? जहाँ पे थर्ड पार्टी को पता ही नहीं है कि प्रिंसिपल कोई और है. एजेंट ने डिस्क्लोज ही नहीं किया है कि देर इज अ प्रिंसिपल. He is acting with the third party as if he himself is making the contract as a principal. Okay, so who is an undisclosed principal? आगे हमारा सेक्शन है डिटेल में उसके बारे में. सो सेक्शन 231 स्टेट्स दैट जो मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी पढ़ के सुनाया यहाँ पे. सेक्शन 231 कहता है वेर एन एजेंट मेक्स अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद अ पर्सन हु नाइदर नोज, मतलब थर्ड पार्टी नाइदर नोज नॉर हैज रीजन टू सस्पेक्ट दैट ही इज एन एजेंट, हिज प्रिंसिपल में रिक्वायर द परफॉर्मेंस. यहाँ पे क्या है, यहाँ पे एजेंट ने बताया नहीं दैट देर इज अ प्रिंसिपल. ओके, वो अनडिस्क्लोज्ड है. नाउ प्रिंसिपल मे नॉट बी डिस्क्लोज्ड, बट हियर ऑल्सो जो टू थिंग्स कौन से इंपॉर्टेंट है, नेम्ड, अननेम्ड. नेम्ड प्रिंसिपल इज वेयर द एजेंट डिस्क्लोजेज दैट ही इज एक्टिंग एज एन एजेंट. उसने पहले ही बताया, देखो मैं प्रिंसिपल का नाम नहीं बताऊंगा, बट देर इज अ प्रिंसिपल, आई एम जस्ट एक्टिंग एज एन एजेंट. Okay, so he is acting as agent. So here the principal alone will be liable, as principal will be liable, he can directly sue the third party, he can be directly sued by the third party. यहाँ पे agent की liability नहीं होती. Unnamed principal is where the agent does not disclose the name of the principal, but he discloses that he is acting in the representative capacity to the third person. उसने disclose कर दिया. यहाँ पे also agent cannot be held personally liable. Okay, but where the agent does not disclose the existence nor the identity of the principal, then the doctrine of undisclosed principal will come into effect. See, no need to get confused. 2 to 3 things है यहाँ पे. पहला, एजेंट को अपॉइंट किया प्रिंसिपल ने. प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट को कहा कि तुम जाके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाओ, थर्ड पार्टी को बताओ दैट यू आर एन एजेंट, लेकिन मेरा नाम अभी मत लो. सो ये हुआ अननेम्ड प्रिंसिपल, मतलब थर्ड पार्टी को पता है कि जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर रहा है हमारे साथ वो सिर्फ एक एजेंट है, प्रिंसिपल कोई और है, लेकिन उनको प्रिंसिपल का नाम पता नहीं है. दिस बिकम्स अननेम्ड प्रिंसिपल, लेकिन एजेंट ने ये फैक्ट को डिस्क्लोज किया थर्ड पार्टी को कि ही इज जस्ट एन एजेंट. सो ही हैज डिस्क्लोज्ड हिज रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कैरेक्टर, मतलब नाम पता नहीं, लेकिन दे नो दैट देयर इज अ सेपरेट प्रिंसिपल. नाउ हु इज गोइंग टू बी लायबल? प्रिंसिपल एंड थर्ड पार्टी. सेकेंड होता है जहाँ पे एजेंट प्रिंसिपल का नाम भी बता देता है एंड टेल्स ऑल्सो दैट आई एम जस्ट एन एजेंट, वो प्रिंसिपल है. यहाँ पे ऑल्सो हु इज गोइंग टू बी लायबल? प्रिंसिपल इज गोइंग टू बी लायबल. थर्ड थिंग होता है अनडिस्क्लोज्ड प्रिंसिपल. अनडिस्क्लोज्ड प्रिंसिपल मतलब कौन? जहाँ पे एजेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर रहा है थर्ड पार्टी के साथ, प्रिंसिपल है लेकिन एजेंट ऐसे बिहेव कर रहा है जैसे ही हिमसेल्फ इज द प्रिंसिपल, ना कि उसने रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कैरेक्टर को डिस्क्लोज ही नहीं किया है टू द थर्ड पार्टी. सो द थर्ड पार्टी बिलीव्स दैट एजेंट itself is the principal. मतलब एजेंट इज द सेकेंड पार्टी. फॉर थर्ड पार्टी एंड एजेंट, इन दोनों के बीच में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा है. सो जो भी राइट्स और लायबिलिटीज हैं इन दोनों के बीच में. इन दिस केस हु विल बी लायबल? करेक्ट, एजेंट इज गोइंग टू बी लायबल. सो यहाँ पे दिस इज अनडिस्क्लोज्ड प्रिंसिपल. And this doctrine will has the following effects. Now, what are the effects? First, the contract will be enforceable either by the agent or against the agent. तो उसकी personal liability आती है, वो खुद कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को एनफोर्स कर सकता है या थर्ड पार्टी एनफोर्स कर सकती है उसके अगेंस्ट. इन केस ऑफ ब्रीच, थर्ड पार्टी को बाद में पता चला कि अच्छा ये तो एजेंट था, प्रिंसिपल तो कोई और है. So in case of breach, can the third party sue the principal or the agent? They can sue either principal or agent, or they can sue both. और अगर breach is committed by third party, who can file a suit? The agent can file a suit or the principal can file a suit. So they can either file a suit against together or they can file it separately. And where does undisclosed principal get the authority to sue the third party? Where the agent's authority to act for the principal existed at the time of the contract. मतलब पहले contract of agency बन चुका था, उसको already authority मिल चुकी है agent को to act on behalf of the principal. लेकिन उसने क्या किया है? उसने principal को disclose नहीं किया है third party के सामने, तो उसकी liability आएगी agent के ऊपर. अगर बाद में थर्ड पार्टी को पता चला कि ये तो सिर्फ एजेंट था and they don't want to continue with the contract, can they repudiate the contract? Yes, ये भी हम आगे देखेंगे. Okay, so where does the agent have personal liability? Section 230 हमारा चल रहा है. Section 230 सब clause 1 कहता है in case of foreign principal. Secondly, in case of undisclosed principal. And thirdly, where there is प्रिंसिपल नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट है या इनकॉम्पिटेंट है. सो इफ द एजेंट इज कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग फॉर अ माइनर, द एजेंट बिकम्स पर्सनली लायबल. ये मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था, राइट? सो ही बिकम्स पर्सनली लायबल. मतलब when we were doing section 183, when we were section 183 84 जब हम कह रहे थे who can appoint an agent and who can be appointed as an agent. So who can appoint an agent? It is only a person who is competent to contract. So major persons of sound mind can appoint an agent. यहाँ पे अगर minor ने agent appoint किया है तो it is as good as the agent being personally liable. Okay, because minor is incompetent to contract. But if the third party already knew that the principal is a minor and still entered contract, then agent will not be liable because उनको पहले से पता था थर्ड पार्टी को, अच्छा हमारा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट माइनर के साथ हो रहा है, though it is an agent in the middle. Then can they hold the agent liable? They cannot hold because agent has already told कि ये तो minor है, if you want only then go ahead, otherwise don't. Okay, now let us understand so about these sections. Now वही मैंने आपको यही सेक्शंस एक्सप्लेन किए इन अ सिंपलर लैंग्वेज. ओके, देन लेट्स मूव अहेड टू द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ अनडिस्क्लोज्ड प्रिंसिपल. Now, what is the meaning of undisclosed principle? The doctrine of undisclosed principle comes into play when the agent neither discloses the existence of his principal nor his representative character. सो सेक्शन 231 डिक्लेयर करता है, इफ एन एजेंट मेक्स अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद अ पर्सन who neither knows nor has reason to suspect that he is an agent, his principal may require the performance of the contract, but the other contracting party has against the principal the same rights as he would have had against the agent if the agent had been the principal. मतलब इसको अगर हमको समराइज करना है, एक्सप्लेन इट ऑल्सो टू यू. इफ अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज मेड फॉर अ नेम्ड प्रिंसिपल, मतलब नेम्ड प्रिंसिपल मतलब प्रिंसिपल का नाम डिस्क्लोज किया है थर्ड पार्टी को, नेम्ड प्रिंसिपल, देन द प्रिंसिपल अलोन कैन स्यू और बी स्यूड. सो अगर एजेंट ने ऑलरेडी डिस्क्लोज किया है मिस्टर ए इज द प्रिंसिपल एंड इट इज आई एम जस्ट एन एजेंट, उसका नाम भी बता दिया प्रिंसिपल का, बाद में क्या द प्रिंसिपल हैज राइट्स अगेंस्ट द थर्ड पार्टी एंड अगर प्रिंसिपल को स्यू करना है, प्रिंसिपल डायरेक्टली स्यू करेगा थर्ड पार्टी या थर्ड पार्टी कैन डायरेक्टली स्यू द प्रिंसिपल. Secondly, where the agent discloses the existence but not the name of the principal, इसको हम कहते हैं unnamed principal. And if the agent expressly contracts as agent, he cannot personally sue or be sued on the contract. Second case क्या है? Unnamed principal. Agent ने बताया थर्ड पार्टी को सी प्रिंसिपल है, लेकिन I cannot reveal his name. I am an agent. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगा प्रिंसिपल और आपका, तो यहाँ पे थर्ड पार्टी को पता है दैट प्रिंसिपल कोई और है, सिर्फ नाम नहीं पता है. नाउ कैन द एजेंट परफॉर्म द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट? नो. सो जो विल द एजेंट हैव पर्सनल लायबिलिटी? नो. Who will have the liability? Principal and third party. Okay. Then, where the agent has authority in fact, but neither the existence nor the identity of the principal is disclosed, then the doctrine of undisclosed principal comes into play, जो मैंने already आपको explain किया था, because it was interconnected. Okay. So, what is that? Contract will be enforced. Now here, what is this undisclosed principal का मतलब क्या है? Agent ने नाम भी नहीं बताया और उस प्रिंसिपल का एग्जिस्टेंस भी नहीं बताया थर्ड पार्टी को. सो थर्ड पार्टी को लगता है दैट एजेंट ही प्रिंसिपल है एंड दे आर एंटरिंग इनटू कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद हिम. ओके. सो नाउ व्हाट, द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विल बी एनफोर्सेबल आइदर बाय और अगेंस्ट द एजेंट. सो द थर्ड पार्टी को लगता है कि एजेंट ही सब कुछ है, यहाँ पे एजेंट ही प्रिंसिपल है, तो इसका परफॉर्मेंस कौन करेगा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का? एजेंट ही करेगा. अगर कुछ ब्रीच हो जाए, will the third party file a case directly against the agent? Yes, they will file. The third party may sue either the principal or the agent at his option, and conversely, he is liable to be sued either by the principal or the agent. थर्ड पार्टी को पता चला कि ब्रीच हुआ है और उसको ये भी पता चला कि ये तो सिर्फ एजेंट था, प्रिंसिपल कोई और है. कैन दे फाइल अ सूट आइदर अगेंस्ट द एजेंट और द प्रिंसिपल? येस, और इवन बोथ. और अगर थर्ड पार्टी ने ब्रीच कमिट किया है तो एजेंट भी केस फाइल कर सकता है या प्रिंसिपल भी केस फाइल कर सकता है. And the right of the undisclosed principal to sue the third party is subject to three limitations. When can the undisclosed principal file a suit against the third party for breach? Firstly, authority of the agent to act for the principal must have existed at the time of the contract. मतलब ऑलरेडी एजेंट प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट को अपॉइंट किया था, उसके बाद ही ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ है. If the personality of the agent is in the circumstances a matter of vital importance to the other contracting party, the undisclosed principal is not allowed to intervene. मतलब क्या कि okay, I'll explain the third one also. We'll read the third one and I'll explain together. The undisclosed principal can be met with any defense which was available to the third party against the agent before the third party discovered the existence of the principal. So इसका ये मतलब है कि अगर थर्ड पार्टी को पता चला कि ये तो सिर्फ एजेंट था, एक्चुअली हमारा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट प्रिंसिपल तो कोई और है. ओके. बट इन केस ओवर हियर, इफ द एजेंट्स यू कैन से पर्सनैलिटी was of vital importance to the third party, मतलब third party ने contract किया with the agent thinking him to be principal because they wanted to enter the contract only with him. Okay. Meaning that there is an agent and there is an undisclosed principal. एजेंट ने प्रिंसिपल का नाम या उसका एग्जिस्टेंस थर्ड पार्टी को नहीं बताया. So third party believes the agent to be the principal. Now third party is telling that agent that it is because of you that I am entering the contract. अगर कोई और होता तो मैं ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कभी भी एंटर नहीं करता. एजेंट को ये पता है कि एक्चुअल प्रिंसिपल कोई और है, लेकिन ये फैक्ट वो डिस्क्लोज नहीं करता. सो यहाँ पे द थर्ड पार्टी हैज मेड द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद द एजेंट thinking him to be principal because the identity of that agent was of great importance to the third party. मतलब थर्ड पार्टी है बता रही उसके कि तुम हो इसलिए हम ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर रहे हैं, अगर कोई और होता आपकी जगह तो हम ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दैट इफ द पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ द एजेंट is a matter of vital importance to the other contracting party, then undisclosed principal जो है he cannot intervene in this matter. Then the case is only between the third party and the agent. Okay, so that is what that point means. Okay, now here और एक चीज़ important है. If the principal, when does he's an undisclosed principal. Okay, now contract तो बन गया between agent and third party without revealing the identity or existence of the principal. What if the principal decides to disclose himself? So यहाँ पे law कहता है if the principal discloses himself before the contract is completed, मतलब performed, the third party, मतलब now टाइम ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस आ गया, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बन चुका है, टाइम ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस आ गया, और अब प्रिंसिपल सामने आता और कहता है एक्चुअली ना मैं प्रिंसिपल हूँ, ये तो सिर्फ एजेंट था, टू द थर्ड पार्टी. अब थर्ड पार्टी may refuse to fulfill the contracts if he can show that if he had known that who was the real principal, he would not have ever made the contract. Okay, so मतलब there is a principal P and there is a agent को अपॉइंट किया गया है, लेकिन एजेंट को कहा है कि तुम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करो, डू नॉट डिस्क्लोज माई आइडेंटिटी, डू नॉट डिस्क्लोज माई एग्जिस्टेंस, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंटर करो. अब let's take an example that there are two families and they are rivals of each other. Okay, तो जैसे हमने हिंदी मूवीज़ में हम देखते हैं दो खानदान आपस में दुश्मनी बिकॉज ऑफ सम पास्ट हिस्ट्री. अब एक फैमिली जो है उनको अपनी प्रॉपर्टी बेचनी है. ओके, अब ये जो दूसरी फैमिली है उनको पता चलता है कि इस फैमिली ए को प्रॉपर्टी बेचनी है. अब अगर ये खरीदने जाए बिकॉज ऑफ द पास्ट राइवलरी, फैमिली ए विल नेवर सेल द प्रॉपर्टी टू फैमिली बी. तो फैमिली बी क्या करती है, एजेंट को अपॉइंट करती है और एजेंट को कहती है कि आप जाके ये प्रॉपर्टी हमारे बिहाफ पे परचेज करो, जो भी कॉस्ट, यू हैव फुल फ्रीडम, गो एंड परचेज दैट प्रॉपर्टी फ्रॉम फैमिली ए, लेकिन हमारी आइडेंटिटी डिस्क्लोज नहीं करनी. इट इज़ एज गुड एज यू आर द बायर ऑफ दैट प्रॉपर्टी. तो एजेंट कहता है ठीक है. एजेंट जाता है, negotiations begin, and now family A, believing that agent is the real buyer and not an agent of the family B, they decide to sell the property to the agent. प्रॉपर्टी पेपर्स सब ड्रॉ होते हैं, एवरीथिंग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंटर होता है, प्राइस डिसाइड होती है, सब कुछ डिसाइड होता है. अभी द ओनली थिंग रिमेनिंग इज ट्रांसफरिंग. सिग्नेचर्स रह गए, ट्रांसफ़र डीड भी रेडी है, उसको सिर्फ अभी साइन करना है. अब जिस दिन ये साइन हो रहा है उसी दिन फैमिली बी का जो हेड ऑफ द फैमिली है जाता है रजिस्ट्रार के ऑफिस में और वहाँ पे जाके बाहर रुकता है. जैसे ही फैमिली ए आती है उसको देखती है, वो कहती है अरे तुम यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो, और फिर वो क्या कहता है एक्चुअली ये जो प्रॉपर्टी खरीदने वाला है ना वो मैं ही तो हूँ. अब फैमिली ए को अब पता चला कि एक्चुअली प्रिंसिपल तो कोई और है, ये तो सिर्फ एजेंट है. नाउ इफ द अनडिस्क्लोज्ड प्रिंसिपल discloses himself before the performance of the contract, the third party कैन रिफ्यूज टू फुलफिल द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. अब वो कहते हैं हमको ये ट्रांसफर करना ही नहीं है, हमको हमारी प्रॉपर्टी आपको बेचनी नहीं है. अगर हमको पहले पता होता कि यू आर द रियल प्रिंसिपल, वी वुड नेवर हैव अग्रीड टू सेल द प्रॉपर्टी टू दिस एजेंट. करेक्ट. सो ये है कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज. So this is what happens in the case of an undisclosed principal. Okay, so these are the facts which have been given. Then you have liability of a pretended agent or agent by holding out. Okay, so what is the meaning of a pretended agent? Pretended agent means he is the one who contracts as an agent without the authority. Real authority matlab actually ostensible authority for the principal whom he names, and he cannot bind the alleged principal by that contract. The liability of a pretended agent matlab actually pretended agent कौन है? वो agent है नहीं. He is pretending to be the agent. Agent का जो definition हमने देखा था section 182 में. Who is an agent? Agent is a person who is employed by the principal to do an act or to represent him in a transaction. Correct? लेकिन यहाँ पे pretended agent को principal ने appoint भी नहीं किया है. Okay? So he is the one who acts as an agent without the authority of a principal. Okay? So the liability of a pretended agent is known as liability of holding out. While the third party has a right to claim compensation from the pretended agent, the agent himself has no right to compel that the other party perform the contract, because actually वो तो agent है ही नहीं. So section 236 कहता है, therefore enacts that a person with whom a contract has been entered into in the character of an agent is not entitled to require performance if he was in reality acting not as an agent but on his own account. Okay, ये पहले so agent pretended agent मतलब a person he is pretending to act as agent of another person, मतलब a principal. He can be sued by the principal, or both things can happen. Either he can be saved by the principal by ratifying the act, but if the principal does not ratify the act, the agent will be personally liable to the third party for any loss which has been suffered relying on such representation. So example क्या है? A is acting as agent, लेकिन वो agent है ही नहीं किसी का. Okay? और वो जाके third party के साथ contract कर लेता है, saying that I am an agent of Mr. So and so, when in reality he is not the agent. Now, what can actually the Mr. A do? Either he can ratify the acts, or he can deny it completely. And in this case, जो third party को जो भी नुकसान हुआ है, then the agent will be personally liable. For example, you get to hear about household items, your cosmetics की agency ले सकते हैं. हाँ, so there is the manufacturing company अलग होती है. Manufacturing company does not want to set up shops where they can sell their product. So वो क्या करते हैं? They have family मतलब they are ready to give their agency to anyone. जैसे Tupperware है, Tupperware gives their agency to individuals. Okay, यहाँ cosmetics products है, so they give their agency. So इसमें क्या होता है? You act, अगर आप कंपनी से वो एजेंसी लेते हो, the company will hand over the goods to you, and कुछ आपके terms of agreement होते हैं. फिर आपको हर प्रोडक्ट के पीछे कमीशन मिलता है. ओके, सो दैट इज योर अर्निंग. सो यहाँ पे अगर देर इज अ पर्सन हु परचेसेस द प्रोडक्ट्स फ्रॉम द कंपनी एज अ बायर, वो बायर की तरह परचेज कर रहा है गुड्स, एंड ही सेल्स द गुड्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल टपरवेयर के प्रोडक्ट्स. ओके, टपरवेयर आर दोस प्लास्टिक प्रोडक्ट्स, राइट? सो देर इज मिस्टर ए who has purchased these products from the shop. Now he goes to the people in his building and says that I have the agency of Tupperware. Okay, so I am the agent of Tupperware, so you can purchase the goods from me. Okay, and he starts selling. So लोगों को लगता है अच्छा ये तो authorized agent है Tupperware का, so it is better to buy the product from him. But in reality, is he an agent of Tupperware? No, he is acting in his own capacity. तो यहाँ पे अगर कुछ भी डिस्प्यूट्स हो जाए, कुछ भी हो जाए, will he be personally liable? Yes, he can be be personally liable, या Tupperware उसके एक्शन को ratify करके कह सकता है ठीक है no problem, we will be liable. Okay, ratify कर लिया उसके act को, now they took him as their real agent. So case है XYZ Colin versus Wright का case, where I have also I will be discussing this case again detail में थोड़ा सा. Colin versus Wright का we will come into breach of warranty case में, we will cover up this case instead of covering it up now. Okay, then लेकिन यहाँ पे और एक फैक्टर है, what I have told you is that बाद में अगर प्रिंसिपल को पता चला, प्रिंसिपल can ratify the act also, and in case the principal does not ratify the act, then the agent will be personally liable to the third party for any loss suffered by the third party by relying on his representation. But if the third party already knows the truth that actually ये Tupperware का agent कुछ नहीं है, third party को already पता था, then is he liable? Does he have any kind of liability? The answer is no. Then he will not have any kind of liability. So section 236 कहता है that where a person has no principal, yet he persuades the third party to contract with him as an agent, then as contract of agency ये कह रहा है, I mean agency by estoppel, section 237 ये point forward लेता है that if a person estoppel का मतलब क्या है, according to it, where an agent has without the authority done acts or incurred liabilities to third persons on behalf of his principal, then the principal is bound by such acts or obligations if he believes that such acts and obligations were within the scope of agent's authority. So as a result of the principle of estoppel, a person may be liable for the acts and transactions done without any express or implied authority from him and not ratified by him. Example, a dealer in rubber tires consigns them to be for sale with instructions not to sell them. ये जो Dunlop का example था, Dunlop tires का, with instructions not to sell them below a reserve price. The buyer, the buyer, ignorant of this fact, contracts with the agent to buy the tires below the reserve price. So here is the principal bound by that? Yes, by estoppel. Okay. Then one more thing which I want you to understand over here is breach of warranty of authority. Okay, जो यहाँ पे नहीं दिया गया, but I want you to understand it all the same. यहाँ पे I will explain that case to you about Colin versus Wright. So closely allied to liability of a pretended agent is the liability of agent for breach of warranty of authority. Okay, so जहाँ पे a person is an agent but he exceeds his authority or represents to have a kind of authority which in reality he does not have. He is pretending that he is an agent. Okay, and what does he do? He commits breach of warranty of authority, and now he will be personally liable to the third party for any loss which has been caused to the third party by his false representation. So Colin versus Wright का case था where this doctrine of breach of warranty of authority was actually invented in the common law. So Colin versus Wright का एक लैंडमार्क केस है, 1857 का केस है, जहाँ पे ये ब्रीच ऑफ वारंटी ऑफ अथॉरिटी का प्रिंसिपल डाला गया था इन द इंग्लिश कॉमन लॉ, विच ऑफ कोर्स वी बोरोड. केस क्या था? W was an agent, मतलब Wright was an agent of a principal. Okay, अब he thought that he had the authority to lease the principal's farm. He was a agent who was appointed by the principal. अब प्रिंसिपल के फार्म्स थे. अब एजेंट मिस्टर राइट को लगा that he had the rights to lease the property for long duration to third party. He could lease the property of the principal to third party for longer duration. So thinking that he did have the authority, he leased the principal's farm to Mr. Colin for 12.5 years. Now, actually, principal ने property दी थी Mr. Wright को to lease out, but इतने long duration के लिए lease करना है, ये तो terms of contract में थे ही नहीं. The agent, Mr. Wright, believed that he had this authority, but actually he did not have this authority. So he went beyond his authority knowingly, unknowingly, whatever the case may be, he went beyond his authority and leased the principal's farm to third party for 12 and a half years. Now principal refused to execute the lease agreement. अब lease agreement है था, करना था. प्रिंसिपल ने कहा बिल्कुल नहीं, आई विल नॉट एग्जीक्यूट द लीज अग्रीमेंट, और उसने ये प्रूव किया दैट ही हैड नॉट गिवन एनी सच अथॉरिटी टू मिस्टर राइट. उन्होंने कहा मिस्टर राइट आपके पास ये अथॉरिटी थी नहीं, वी हैड नेवर गिवन यू दिस अथॉरिटी टू लीज द फार्म फॉर 12.5 years, बट यू डिड सो आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू एग्जीक्यूट द लीज अग्रीमेंट. ड्यू टू ऑल दिस, जो कॉलिन था, कॉलिन कौन है? Colin was the third party. The third party suffered a loss and sued Wright, matlab the agent, for the loss. Now here it is important to note that agent gives the warranty of his authority. He, however, does not give guarantee that if the contract is within his authority, principal would not commit breach. So ये वारंटी दे रहा है खुद की अथॉरिटी की कि हाँ प्रिंसिपल ने मुझे ये वारंटी, मुझे ये अथॉरिटी दी है. आई एम वारंटिंग दैट द प्रिंसिपल हैज़ गिवन मी द अथॉरिटी टू डू दिस पर्टिकुलर एक्ट. ये वारंटी ऑफ अथॉरिटी वो दे सकता है, लेकिन ही कैन नॉट गिव एनी गारंटी टू द थर्ड पार्टी दैट द प्रिंसिपल वुड नॉट कमिट अ ब्रीच. वैसे प्रिंसिपल विल नॉट कमिट अ ब्रीच, ये गारंटी कोई भी नहीं दे सकता. एजेंट क्या कर सकता है? सिर्फ वारंटी दे सकता है दैट आई एम एक्टिंग विद इन माई अथॉरिटी. ये जो मैंने एक्ट किया है, मुझे इसकी अथॉरिटी प्रिंसिपल ने दे दी. लेकिन कॉलिन वर्सेस राइट के केस में ये अथॉरिटी नहीं थी. ओके, सो प्रिंसिपल ने क्या किया? प्रिंसिपल सेड दैट मिस्टर राइट, द एजेंट, यू हैव एक्टेड बियॉन्ड हिज अथॉरिटी, बियॉन्ड योर अथॉरिटी. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू बी, आई एम गोइंग टू नॉट एग्जीक्यूट, आई repudiate the contract. Okay, then we have liability of the principal for the agent's fraud or misrepresentation. अगर agent ने कोई भी fraud किया है and he has been involved in any kind of misrepresentation, then what are the consequences? So section 238 lays down the principle by which the liability of the principal for wrongful acts of the agent is determined. So कहता है कि agent, section 238 कहता है agent's fraud which is committed in the course of agency business is equivalent to the fraud committed by the principal, right? So to determine liability of the principal, yeah, it is very important to first what is the liability of the principal. So अगर in the business of agency अगर agent ने कोई भी fraud commit किया है, so who will be liable? Principal. अब प्रिंसिपल की लायबिलिटी डिटर्मिन करने के लिए फर्स्ट इट इज नेसेसरी दैट द रॉन्ग इज कमिटेड टू, वी हैव टू फर्स्ट मेक श्योर दैट द रॉन्ग इज कमिटेड इन द कोर्स ऑफ प्रिंसिपल्स बिजनेस. प्रिंसिपल का जो बिजनेस था, इन द रेगुलर कंडक्ट ऑफ हिज बिजनेस उसने एजेंट को अपॉइंट किया, एजेंट ने कमिट किया फ्रॉड, विल द प्रिंसिपल बी लायबल? यस. तो पहले हमको चेक करना है वेदर the wrongful act of the agent was committed in the course of principal's business. Even if the particular act was not authorized by the principal, but if the act is done in the course of carrying on the authorized business, then the principal will be liable. उसने authority नहीं दी थी, but it was in the course of the regular conduct of the business. Can the principal be held liable? Yes. Then in the course of the agent's employment, where he has to sell the principal's goods or his property, like he's a mercantile agent, he's a regular mercantile agent, और principal का business ही है to sell goods. So यहाँ पे where it is in the agent's employment, where he has to sell the principal's goods or any property, he may often make exaggerated statements to find customers, right? जो seller करता है exaggerate करके extravagant क्लेम कर सकता है, राइट, यू नो, कि ये है वो है, जस्ट टू फाइंड द राइट परचेसर, ही कैन मेक सच एग्जैजरेटेड स्टेटमेंट्स. द लॉ डज नॉट लाइक टू होल्ड द प्रिंसिपल लायबल फॉर द एजेंट्स एक्सट्रावेगेंट स्टेटमेंट्स अनलेस इट फाइंड सम फॉल्ट विद द प्रिंसिपल हिमसेल्फ. ओके, सो अगर यहाँ पे लॉ ने फाइंड आउट किया कि नहीं ये तो प्रिंसिपल का ही फॉल्ट था, देन ओनली they will hold him liable. Otherwise, to sell the goods or the property, लॉ कहता है कि एजेंट को इतने एग्जैजरेटेड स्टेटमेंट्स नहीं करने चाहिए. सो यू कैनॉट मेक एनी फॉल्स प्रोमिसेस ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल वेयर प्रिंसिपल इज सेइंग नहीं नहीं ये मेरी ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. लाइक टू इन जस्ट इन ऑर्डर टू सेल द गुड्स एजेंट कैन नॉट से नहीं नहीं ये इतना डिस्काउंट मिलेगा, ये सर्विस प्रोवाइड करेंगे, वो सर्विस प्रोवाइड करेंगे. और एक्चुअली यू कैन नॉट बाइंड द प्रिंसिपल बाय दीज स्टेटमेंट्स बिकॉज ये एग्जैजरेटेड थे. ये they could have even been false, they could have been fraudulent. Okay, so यहाँ पे वी हैव टू सी एक केस भी हमको देखना है. एंड अच्छा ओके, so this I've mentioned to you. Fine. So what was this now? There was uh, one more thing we need to understand over here is agents tort. अब ये जो केस यहाँ पे दिया गया है यही I will be explaining to you. What is a tort? Tort का मतलब है minor offense. So if an agent has committed any tort, okay, which in the course of the business of principal, will the principal be liable by the tort committed by the, will principal ever be liable by tort committed by the agent? Okay, so यहाँ पे answer is yes. Why? Because this is based on the doctrine of respondit superior. इसका मतलब है let the superior answer. Respondit superior इसका मतलब है let the superior answer. And who do we mean by superior? By superior we mean principal. So principal will be liable where the agent commits a tort while acting in the course of and within the scope of his agency. Agar when he is conducting the business of agency and within his authority, if he has committed a tort, will the principal be liable? Yes. And this is based on the principal doctrine of respondit superior, let the superior answer. However, it is not necessary that the act should have been done by the agent for the principal's benefit. मतलब ये जो tort commit किया agent ने, not necessary that it has been done for the principal's benefit. वो खुद के benefit के लिए अगर भी tort commit करे in within his authority in the regular conduct of the business of agency, can he still hold the principal liable? Yes, he can. और ये जो केस यहाँ पे जो टेस्टिंग का एग्जाम्पल है ये केस कौन सा था? दिस केस वॉज लायड वर्सेस ग्रेस स्मिथ एंड को. अब ये केस क्या था? अब ग्रेस स्मिथ एंड को they were a firm of solicitors and they had a very good reputation and they were very respectable firm of solicitors. अब एक थी मिसेस लॉयड. अब मिसेस लॉयड थी एक विडो और उनके पास थे 2 कॉटेजेस जो उन्होंने लीज या रेंट पे दिए हुए. बट शी वॉज नॉट वेरी सेटिस्फाइड विद द इनकम ऑफ दीज 2 कॉटेजेस. तो 2 कॉटेजेस उनके पास थे, मे बी शी हैड गिवन इट ऑन लीज और रेंट, लेकिन जो इनकम उनसे मिल रहा था द विडो मिसेस लॉयड को, शी वॉज नॉट वेरी हैप्पी विद दैट. सो मिसेस लॉयड ने क्या किया? शी अप्रोच्ड ग्रेस स्मिथ एंड को सॉलिसिटर्स द फर्म फॉर एडवाइस. ओके, so she consulted the firm's clerk. जो firm के clerk थे, she consulted with him. And why she consulted with the firm's clerk? Because the firm's clerk was in charge of conveyancing business. So the clerk was in charge of the conveyancing business. अभी conveyancing business का मतलब क्या है? It means the act of or business of drawing deeds, lease agreements, other writings for transferring the titles of property. Okay, so conveyancing business का मतलब है the business of drawing up deeds. तो ये clerk का काम क्या था? To draw up deeds, lease agreements या any other written documents for transferring the title of property. So was she talking to the right person? The answer is yes. She was talking to the right person because वो उसका job था, ये उसका काम ही था. Okay, so she asked him as to how she can improve her income. तो ये जो firm का clerk था, he advised her to dispose of the cottages. He said, you dispose it off, sell off these cottages. And he asked her to bring the title deeds, मतलब property papers. उन्होंने कहा मिसेस लॉयड को, आप ये properties बेच दो. ओके, और इसके जो टाइटल डीड्स है ना, मतलब ओनरशिप पेपर्स सब लेके आइए. Mrs. Lloyd got the papers and he took her signatures on 2 papers और डॉक्यूमेंट साइन हो गए. फिर उन्होंने क्या किया क्लर्क ने, ही कन्वर्टेड दीज पेपर्स इनटू अ सेल डीड फॉर हिमसेल्फ. ही कन्वर्टेड दीज डॉक्यूमेंट्स इनटू अ सेल डीड फॉर हिमसेल्फ एंड सब्सिक्वेंटली उसने क्या किया, ही डिस्पोज्ड ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी उसने बेच दी, एंड ही मिसअप्रोप्रिएटेड द प्रोसीड्स ऑल्सो. प्रॉपर्टी भी बेच दी एंड जो पैसा मिला वो मिसअप्रोप्रिएट कर दिया. करेक्ट. ना मिसेस लॉयड ने क्या किया, सॉलिसिटर फर्म को स्यू कर दिया. ग्रेस स्मिथ एंड को मिसेस लॉयड ने स्यू किया. अब कोर्ट ने डिसीजन लिया दैट द फर्म वाज रिस्पॉन्सिबल एज द फ्रॉड वाज कमिटेड बाय देयर रिप्रेजेंटेटिव in the course of his employment. He acted as an agent of the firm, and will the firm be liable? Yes, because he was in their employment and ये उसका काम था. Whatever he did was within the scope of his authority. Yes, correct. So यही टेस्टिंग का एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पे दिया है, and the case was Lloyd versus Gray Smith and Co. Okay, so this is about the liability of an agent. Personal liability कब होती है? In the case of foreign principal, in case of incompetent principal, in case of undisclosed principal, and in case of pretended agent के case में, then the agent will have personal liability. Correct? And then we come to the last part, and that is termination of an agency. What are the circumstances under which an agency can be terminated? So first तो केस बहुत सिंपल है. सेक्शन 203 talks about revocation of authority by the principal. जब प्रिंसिपल खुद ही अपनी अथॉरिटी को रिवोक कर रहा है. सेक्शन 203, principal can revoke the agent's authority at any time before the authority has been exercised so as to bind the principal. Before the agent को अपॉइंट तो किया, लेकिन before he can exercise his authority, principal ने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ एजेंसी को रिवोक कर दिया. देन सेक्शन 207 प्रोवाइड करता है दैट ये जो रेवोकेशन है किस तरीके से हो सकता है. एक्सप्रेस रेवोकेशन भी हो सकता है और इम्प्लाइड रेवोकेशन भी हो सकता है. एग्जाम्पल, प्रिंसिपल ने अपॉइंट किया एजेंट को टू गिव हिज हाउस ऑन रेंट. लेटर बिफोर द एजेंट कुड फाइंड समवन टू गिव द हाउस ऑन रेंट टू, प्रिंसिपल ने खुद ही रेंट पे दे दिया. सो इट इज एज गुड as revoking the authority. So ये हुई implied. His action of giving the house on rent himself has amounted to revocation of agency. Now, can agency ये हम आगे भी देखेंगे. But now understand one thing. This revocation जो है, it is subject to certain conditions. Section 204 कहता है कि revocation जो है it operates prospectively. इसका मतलब है if the agent has partly exercised his authority, then the principal may revoke it for the future. जैसे remember we did surety में the contract of guarantee जो है, can he revoke his surety for future transactions? Yes, लेकिन the previous transaction he will have to perform. जहाँ guarantee previous ट्रांजैक्शन की लाइबिलिटी एग्जिस्ट करती है, लेकिन फ्यूचर की ही कैन टर्मिनेट. देन सेक्शन 206 स्टेट्स दैट इफ द एजेंसी इज क्रिएटेड फॉर अ फिक्स्ड पीरियड और उसको टर्मिनेट करना है, रिवोक करना है, देन अ रीजनेबल नोटिस देना बहुत ज़रूरी है. देन व्हाट अबाउट द लायबिलिटी टू कॉम्पनसेट. सो सेक्शन 205 कहता है in case the time period for agency, for the continuation of agency has been fixed, and in case it is terminated prematurely. For example, जब agent को contract किया है, principal ने agent को बताया है that this contract is for 5 years, and due to whatever reasons this agency is prematurely terminated, then इसको टर्मिनेट कौन कर सकता है? प्रिंसिपल खुद कर सकता है या एजेंट भी कर सकता है. सो अगर प्रिंसिपल ने प्रीमेच्योरली टर्मिनेट किया है, तो इसकी प्रीमेच्योर टर्मिनेशन की वजह से, रेवोकेशन की वजह से अगर एजेंट को कुछ भी नुकसान होता है, देन द प्रिंसिपल शुड कॉम्पेंसेट द एजेंट फॉर लॉस. और अगर ये एजेंसी फिक्स टाइम पीरियड के लिए है एंड एजेंट उसको रिवोक करता है प्रीमेच्योरली, और उसकी वजह से अगर प्रिंसिपल को कोई भी नुकसान होता है, इफ द प्रिंसिपल सफर्स अ लॉस, then the agent has to compensate the loss. And in both the cases, अगर premature revoke करना है agency को, then prior notice within reasonable time has to be given, which is told to us by section 206. So 206 कहता है ठीक है, prematurely अगर इसको dissolve करना है, अगर इसको revoke करना है agency को, you must give notice. And if the agency is terminated without a notice, then damages will have to be paid, obviously. However, compensation की ज़रूरत कहाँ पे नहीं है, where agency has not been created for a definite time period, then no need of compensation. Fixed period के लिए अगर नई form की गई है, then you can revoke it at any point of time. And where though created for a specific time period, अगर आपने reasonable notice of revocation दिया है, then you do not need to give any kind of compensation. So compensation in case of revocation ज़रूरी कहाँ पे नहीं है? First, if the agency is not for a fixed time period, and secondly, where reasonable notice of revocation is given, you don't need to give any compensation. Okay, so यहाँ पे revocation की बात चल रही है. revocation कौन कर सकता है? प्रिंसिपल भी कर सकता है, एजेंट भी कर सकता है. ओके, देन अगर ये एक एजेंसी फिक्स टाइम पीरियड के लिए है और अगर वो प्रीमेच्योरली रिवोक हो रहा है, यू मस्ट गिव रीजनेबल नोटिस. अगर आप रीजनेबल नोटिस नहीं देते और सडनली रिवोक करते हैं एजेंसी को प्रीमेच्योरली, जो भी नुकसान होगा, देन यू हैव टू कॉम्पेंसेट द लॉस. ओके, and then there is one thing called as agency coupled with interest. ये क्या है? section 202 इसके बारे में कहता है. At times agency becomes irrevocable. You cannot revoke it. Okay, so since we are talking about revocation, this is another point that at times the agency is irrevocable. आप उसको revoke कर ही नहीं सकते. कब होती है irrevocable? Where the agent has himself an interest in the property which forms the subject matter of agency. Such an agency can be terminated, cannot be terminated rather, in the absence of an express contract. So अगर यहाँ पे there is an agency which is coupled with interest. Coupled with interest का मतलब है अगर एजेंट को उसके पास जो भी सब्जेक्ट मैटर है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल उसको प्रिंसिपल ने अपॉइंट किया है टू sell certain property belonging to the principal. अब वो जो प्रॉपर्टी उसके पास है उसमें एजेंट का भी इंटरेस्ट अटैच हो चुका है. नाउ दैट काइंड ऑफ एजेंसी कैनॉट बी रिवोक्ड सडनली. ओके, एंड इवन द डेथ ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल कैनॉट एंड इट. एग्जाम्पल, तो एजेंट के पास प्रिंसिपल के गुड्स हैं. Okay, goods, movable goods are in the custody of the agents. Agent has not been paid money, मतलब, or you can say that the principal has to pay certain money to the agent, और goods है agent के पास. प्रिंसिपल खुद एजेंट को इंस्ट्रक्शंस देता है that मेरे गुड्स जो आपके पास है आप उनको बेच दो और अपना पैसा रिकवर कर लो. अब वो जो गुड्स है एजेंट के पास, ही हैज़ एन इंटरेस्ट इन दोज गुड्स. वाई? बिकॉज उनको बेच के उसको उसका पैसा रिकवर करना है, उसके ड्यूज रिकवर कर रहे हैं. इन सच अ केस, कैन द प्रिंसिपल रिवोक हिज एजेंसी बिफोर द एजेंट हैज सोल्ड दोज गुड्स एंड रिकवर्ड हिज मनी? नो. सो यहाँ पे क्यों ये इरिवोकेबल क्यों है? रिवोक क्यों नहीं हो सकता? बिकॉज यहाँ पे एजेंट का इंटरेस्ट अटैच्ड है टू द सब्जेक्ट मैटर ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, मतलब द गुड्स. ओके, सो दैट इज एजेंसी कपल्ड विथ इंटरेस्ट. सो एंड दिस एजेंसी जहाँ पे इंटरेस्ट अटैच है एजेंट का इन द सब्जेक्ट मैटर, इवन इफ द प्रिंसिपल डाइज ना, दिस एजेंसी कैनॉट एंड. ये एजेंसी कब एंड होगी? ओनली व्हेन ही हैज सोल्ड ऑफ दोज गुड्स एंड रिकवर्ड हिज मनी, मतलब उसका इंटरेस्ट कंप्लीट होना चाहिए. सो दीज वर द फैक्टर्स अबाउट revocation, the first part, revocation. Okay. Then second is renunciation of business of agency by the agent. सेक्शन 206 हमको ये बताता है renunciation, to renunciate मतलब to give up, give it up. Renunciation of business by agent मतलब agent ने खुद ही छोड़ दिया, terminate कर दिया. This may be express or implied. When the agency is for a fixed period of time, the agent must compensate the principal for any premature revocation of the agency without sufficient cause. मतलब without proper cause अगर वो prematurely end कर रहा है, agency को renounce कर रहा है, खुद ही छोड़ रहा है, either the principal can revoke or the agent can revoke, correct? So agent जब revoke करता है हमको उसको कहते हैं renunciation. अगर ये हुआ है और उसने पहले reasonable notice नहीं दिया है, then the agent will have to compensate the principal for any loss suffered by the principal due to this premature renunciation. He also needs to give the principal reasonable notice of revocation, failing which he would have to make good the damage resulting to the principal. तो पहला point था where the principal is revoking, और ये second point 206 कह रहा है agent revoke कर रहा है. Third is completion of business. Section 202 talks about completion of business. Okay, so यहाँ पे क्या है? An agency is automatically or by operation of law terminated when its business is completed. अगर एजेंट को अपॉइंट किया है फॉर अ स्पेसिफिक पर्पस, लाइक ही इज एन एस्टेट एजेंट और उसको काम दिया है प्रिंसिपल ने कि ये मेरा घर है, प्लीज फाइंड अ परचेसर फॉर दिस हाउस. द एजेंट हैज फाउंड द परचेसर, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो चुका है बिटवीन द प्रिंसिपल एंड अ परचेसर. अब यहाँ पे बिजनेस ऑफ एजेंसी खत्म हो चुकी है, सो द बिजनेस एजेंसी विल कम टू एन एंड बिकॉज बिजनेस कंप्लीट हुआ. या agency can be automatically terminated by the operation of law. यहाँ पे कब हो सकता है ये operation of law? Where war is declared between two countries, the agent belongs to one country and principal belongs to another country, और इन दोनों की countries के बीच में war start हुआ है, so they both have become alien enemies of each other. Can the agency be terminated automatically by the operation of law? The answer is yes. Okay. Then that is due to completion of business, either due to finishing of the business or due to outbreak of war. By operation of law automatically end हो सकता है. Then you have death or insanity of the principal or agent. An agency, this also has been told to us by section 201. An agency always terminates by the death or insanity of the principal or the agent. The death or dissolution in the case of an artificial person like a corporation of the principal terminates the authority of the agent when it is brought to his knowledge. Mere death of the, हाँ ये भी important point है, mere death of the principal cannot end the agency या even the agent. Knowledge of the death has to come into awareness. Mere death of the principal cannot operate to end the agency until the agent heard about it. मतलब एजेंट को अपॉइंट किया गया था फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर जॉब, फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर वर्क, फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर बिजनेस एक्टिविटी. अब अपॉइंट करने के बाद अगर प्रिंसिपल डाइड ऑन मंडे, एजेंट को पता नहीं है, एजेंट कम्स टू नो अबाउट द डेथ ओनली ऑन फ्राइडे, सो मंडे टू फ्राइडे can he continue with the agency? Yes. So agency will come to end not on the date of death or insanity, but when agent comes to know about it. Okay. So example, A directs his agent to pay certain money to C. A dies, मतलब the principal dies, and T takes out a probate to his will. B after A's death, but before hearing of it, pays the money to C. बिकॉज उसको डेथ के बारे में पता नहीं था. ओनली व्हेन ही हैज नॉलेज ऑफ डेथ विल द एजेंसी कम टू एन एंड. द पेमेंट इज गुड एज अगेंस्ट डी. वाई द एक्सेप्टर? वाई? बिकॉज the death of the principal does not affect the persons until they come to know about it, and the same rule applies in case of insanity. Then comes principal's insolvency. Okay, what will happen in case the principal becomes insolvent? So in case of principal's insolvency, and not the agent, it is the insolvency of the principal and not the agent that terminate the agency when it has comes to the knowledge of the agent, and in case of third parties it terminates when the fact of insolvency comes to their knowledge. Agent solvency or insolvency has no relevance on the contract as it is entered into between principal and third party. Okay, so 201 ये भी कहता है अगर principal insolvent बन गया then the agency gets terminated when the agent comes has knowledge of the insolvency. Okay, then is expiry of time. ये एक factor you need to understand which is not given here, that agency comes to an end on the expiry of the time period of appointment whether the purpose of agency has been accomplished or not. See, sometimes when the agency has been formed for a particular time period, as soon as that time period is over, agency can end. Whether the purpose for which matlab the business has is completed or no, if the agency has been formed for a time period of 5 years and within that 5 periods even if the work is not completed, it may end because the time period is over. जैसे हमने देखा था पार्टनरशिप